You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
So good evening, good afternoon, good night, and welcome to the Pan-African Daily TV on this Sunday with Queen Uganda. We already announced that this show is going to be an exclusive show because we want to talk about the present, the past, the present, and the future of Uganda. Yeah. And so if you're joining or you're watching from any platform, make sure you click the link and share, because our candidate aspirant, the powerful Queen of Uganda, she's not only a girl that just talks, or a woman that just talks. She's the one that is volunteering to say, Uganda needs help and I'm here to help. Okay, so we want to get into the situation because the situation in Uganda actually is like a small cosmos on the same thing that is happening on the entire continent. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you will just know why we're asking you currently to join this campaign Agenda 21. Yeah, we need 1 million subscribers. With 1 million subscribers, we're going to give our Ugandan queen here the support that she needs to push forward the agenda. Remember, it's all about volunteering. How many women, how many people step up to volunteer to help? We're all talking about building the Africa that we want. We're all talking about the restructuring, the industrialization of Africa. We're talking about the need for good governance, the need for leadership. Yeah, we're talking about a new paradigm, the new Africa. But what actually does it signify? We have to get a lot of leaders and volunteers. It's all about volunteering and advocacy. Now, the leadership where politicians will go around, giving envelopes and bribing through corruption, that is what has actually put our leadership under, what we call a hijack position. Nevertheless, though we talk about and criticize the international relationship or the invincible hand, that is also part of the agenda that we're trying to unlock this lies and all this past of Africa in order for us to correct, a new Africa. So what does it signify taking over the leadership of Africa? That's what we want to talk about today. And we want to use the case study of women taking over Africa. The time is now. I know when I introduced this topic or when I posted this topic, it became a kind of a complex situation for unconscious Africans to understand. Now we got questions or feedbacks like, now is it becoming a gender issue? I don't know why when women step up to volunteer to support, it becomes a gender. But when the men have been there for long, the kings are there, they don't talk about gender. Now look at which continent is really that kind of a continent where this gender imbalance is not a topic apart from us. Of course, it is not a question of gender. Africa, we are genderless, but we're talking about advocacy and volunteering. It is not easy to get volunteers. to lead. It is not easy for people to sacrifice every other thing. Now we see Queen Uganda here. She's going to be responding to 10 critical questions. We want to know about the past of Uganda, the kind of Uganda that maybe before she was born, right? She came on earth and listened or read or heard stories. So we want to look at the Uganda of maybe Idi Amin, you all know. So probably she wasn't born, right? Most of us, but she heard when she came to this dimension in Uganda as a queen. Now, when she came, she grew up. What is it that she knows about this Uganda that she grew up in? Right? She has seen everything. She's been through all. She would not volunteer to say Uganda needs help, and I'm here to help them. Right? I'm here to help my people. I'm here to help my nation. She wouldn't do that if she didn't know the past, and she's currently in the present. But then we want to know her agenda. Now, to help, it's a very good thing, but how do you want to do it? So be my guest tonight. As you click the link, subscribe and share, give us what we need to be able to support all the volunteers and the advocacy for a new Africa. The time is now. Now, our topic is a very interesting, challenging one, but the queen sitting right here has all your answers. Now, I also had a feedback. This day, Susan, you don't take calls, you don't open up the lines. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty much really sorry about that information. So today we'll be taking some few calls or direct your calls into the chat and put at Pan African Daily TV in the chat, so we know that you want us to throw that question on the screen. Not everybody has the confidence to call. Not everybody also just want to speak. So most people just prefer to drop their questions that or comments into the chat board, and we'll bring it to the attention of our guests. The third thing that I'm bringing to you is the good news. They are greetings from Professor, I always want to say Professor PLO Lumumba. Of course, he's going to be live on Susan West show tomorrow to celebrate that anniversary. But I wanted to say Professor James Small. Yeah, Professor James Small sends warm greetings out there to you. He is feathering well. He's just a little bit kind of busy, you know, with other commitments, as you all know. But the one thing that she actually recognized and want to thank you exclusively is the last conversation that we had with him. That conversation went viral and is still going viral. At least we have 1,000 views on that video with Professor James Small on why are the African men the most targeted, particularly in the not everywhere. Well, I say particularly in the Americas, everywhere, even on the continent. Yeah. So he sends warm greetings, and he's very proud of us that we are learning and we are following up. And he calls on many advocates out there to speak up and not to be quiet. So back to the studio with our guest for today, Queen Brenda. I know her. She's a diverse kind of a queen. She's not the first time being here. This is the second time. And this time, we want to answer some 10 critical questions. So what we expect you to know today on this show is, number one, who is our candidate Uganda, you know, Excellency Uganda Queen Katushemererwe Brenda. I hope I just called that name so well. And what does she stand for? We want to, like we say, we want to know about the past, the present, and the future Uganda. What is her agenda? What is the current state of Uganda today? What is it? What does it look like in the future? So please make sure you are seated. I hope all of you are connected now. We want to go into the conversation. Good evening, my queen. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Queen Susan Tata. I am so happy to be here tonight speaking to you and the rest of the viewers. My name is Brenda Katushemererwe. Yes, you know how to say my name right. And I have many titles to my name, but I'll go straight to the point tonight. We are talking about Africa. Every time we raise our voices to speak about goodness, to speak about development and growth, we never forget to speak the word Africa, and that's for a reason. So what I stand for, first of all, is Africa's independence, total economic, political, and social independence of the African people is all I stand for in everything I do. And that's something I'll never back down I always stand for that because I know that's the only reason why our people are crying, why we have many problems in Africa, why we are facing these challenges. And that's actually the reason why we are here tonight, because we want to have a way to get over these challenges. We want to win. So I will speak about Uganda, first starting with the past. I will also say that all I have known is my president, President Yoweri Museveni, is the only thing I've known, because I was born actually when he was already president. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I've seen with my eyes is him. The rest of the stories are what I've read in books, what I've been told by my elders, what I've been told by my parents, my grandparents, and that's what I rely on. But there are always marks that tell you that actually what the people are saying is right. So Uganda, since colonialism, has never seen peaceful transition of power. There's always been struggles. There's always been wars. There's always been the kind of approach where people have to go to what we call the bush, guerrilla kind of warfare, where people have to use the gun and force to make sure they take out a leader or they force a leader into exile, and then they take over power. And that's exactly what it has been. And I think Africa needs to wake up to the fact that if this is the trend, or if this is what we have to do every time, then there is still a problem. We need to grow up. We need to civilize our people. We need to reach a point where we all agree that as African people, it's high time we stop fighting. It's high time we all agree that the things we want are the same, and we are the same people. We share a history. We must also know that that means we will share a future. So why are we fighting? Why can't we agree about something and then we all work towards that? So that's what has been happening in Uganda in the past. And presently, it is sad to also note that it looks like we are going in the past. The present now is taking us back. Very many people are starting to tell us that, this happened long ago. This happened some decades ago. Like, these things used to happen. There are even some artists in Uganda who have sung songs that really show that history is repeating itself. Currently, we have very many people, more than 500 people in prisons, in illegal detentions. We have many youth have been kidnapped. Very many parents do not know where their children are, especially those who are actively involved in politics. And these things that are happening to many people who are aged, they are telling us that, these things happened before with the previous presidents. So what does it tell us? It's what we set precedent for. What the leaders are doing now is what the young ones are learning from. So it's always important that every time the leaders are in power, they remember that everything they do, everything they say, and how they act sets precedent for the coming generations. And these things are happening. The kind of president you have who has always castigated the previous presidents is repeating the same things the previous presidents have done. So it's a sad situation. And for us who are standing for the real salvation and redemption of Africa and the Africans, we condemn that in the strongest terms. So that's what's happening in Uganda. And then after seeing all of these things, what's the projection for what the future will be? So I'm going to say in my capacity that the future, projection about the future, really depends and belongs in the hands of us who believe in Africa, who believe in redemption, who believe in salvation, who believe in freedom, who believe in justice. It is up to us to either shy away and give a blind eye and pretend like these things are not happening, so we shouldn't do anything. It is up to us to decide to wake up and say, you know what, this cannot go on like this. We do not want a future that looks like this. We actually want better. We demand better. And we must raise our voices to tell those in power, to speak truth to power and say, come what may, we need better. We need jobs. We need security. We don't need to see our people going hungry. when we have the best weather, the best soil. We need good and great policies. We want to make sure the future of the young is secured. So if we decide that we need these things, we need better, then we must stand up and fight for that. We must stand up and speak for that. We must always keep our voices out and loud, asking the people and telling the young ones, telling them their responsibility, their role in this. And this is what I stand for. This is what I stand for. And this is, I believe this is the future. The future is the youth. The future is the young. And the young and the youth have got to wake up and get involved. They have got to get involved in the fight, in the struggle. And as a woman, I would also like to say that the time has come. The time has arrived when women must rise up. It's our time, because there are signs everywhere that the world is asking for the mother to wake up and again tend for the children. It's the mother that knows better the needs of the children. So if our mothers cannot wake up, if they don't want to participate, our future is doomed. And this is the point, even when the men must realize and must agree that it's time for the woman, it's time for the mother to help. We are willing to help. We are willing to walk hand in hand. We are willing to go side by side to make sure we save Mother Africa, to make sure we save our children, and we save the future of our children. So this is what I stand for, and this is what I will always stand for. Thank you so much.
Very much. This is beautiful. I'm very sorry your image is actually blending, but as we all know, the quality is not that very good, particularly from where she is, the network. You can understand, like she's saying, the current situation is just still in a kind of a turmoil. Yeah. But who is Brenda speaking to us? Who is Queen from Uganda? I know a lot of queens out here. There's one in the Netherlands. All of them are just saying we want to fix our home. We want to support in every way. But Brenda sitting here is not only an artist, she is a journalist, she is a politician, she is a social entrepreneur, but most of all, she is a Pan-African. Now, Brenda, can you just tell us a little bit about you? We know your aspirations and your wishes and your voices. What are you? We know you even from your artist name. Now, this call, is it something like Ugandans would have to have, politicians that are artists, that are social entrepreneurs? I mean, I love this combination of what we've never seen in the old African leadership. It is either they were just some staunch kind of conservatives that just went to some Harvard and got some, education out here and then came to become the ministers or the managers of the continent of the people. But, this new dynamics, we see it even in the Bobby Wine, a politician, an artist, a social entrepreneur, a Pan-African, and that, I mean, these qualities are appalling. Now, who is Brenda, Queen Uganda? Tell us more about you.
Thank you so much. Before I speak about who I am, I would like to also make a comment on what you've just said, that we are seeing a lot of people with many titles to their names coming up and they want to do politics. And that should be an eye-opener for those in power. I think in the past, it was the politician, it was someone who was trained in political education that would want to do politics. But right about this time, very many people who are talented in different disciplines actually are pursuing politics for a reason. It means there's been a deficit of people who can really bring about change. There's many people that talk about we're bringing change, or we need change of leaders, but the real change on the ground, social change, is not understood by those same people. So what these people you see who have been involved in communities, maybe they've seen the pain. They have lived in the very difficult conditions. They have been affected by the bad policies and the laws. And they have gone through these persecutions. So they know exactly what leadership is. They know what the leaders should be about. They know what the leaders should be speaking about, why they should be helping the people. So that's why we have people like us. We have seen it all. We've been there. So we know that if we were given a chance to be in power, we would change things because we know the pain. We know the pain, exactly. So my name is Brenda, once again, Brenda Katushemererwe. My artist name is Alina Zahir. And let me tell you where I come from.
Mm.
I was born in Uganda, in a small village called Ishaka. And my life, all my life, I think I've lived here and I have seen it all. Like I've been in the villages, I've been in the remote places, I've been in the cities. So like I am everything when it comes to what Uganda is, the
Yes.
social kind of life. Yeah, I've climbed trees, I've grazed cattle, I have mingled millet on the grinding stone. I have done all of this. So this is me. So in 2011, a year after I had graduated from university, I came across a video on Facebook that had speeches from Malcolm X. And these speeches, they kind of took my attention. And at that time, I had friends in the USA, I had friends in Germany who were people who teach about Africa, Black history, nationalism, Pan-Africanism. And I was actually talking to them like every day because I was getting furious of what is this man speaking about. Every time we'd been told about the Negro, they used to tell us about Black people in America, they're called Negroes, but they used to speak it in a sense that gives it an image of cool. Like it's cool to call yourself a nigger. Like if someone is stylish or has got some good swag, they would say that's a nigger. only to realize that this was a misconception. This was us Africans misunderstanding what actually our people in the diaspora go through. So
Yes.
it took my attention so much that I ventured into reading. I started doing reading day and night. I was reading books. I ordered books written by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, books from different scholars of African history. And I actually realized that all the time I've lived in Uganda, I have never been educated. The only kind of education was a college degree where you've been told everything but your own story. You've been told everything but your own history. You've been told everything but your own personal issues. Like those things are left out. You are only taught about great men of Europe. You are taught about great men of America. You are taught about great events in Europe. You are taught about the Canadian prairies. You are not taught about your own environment. You're not like they don't really give it so much. If they teach you about it, it's in small pieces. Like it's not enough, and you don't get to actually make a connection. You don't make a connection with the kings. You don't make a connection with the queens. You don't make a connection with the struggles of the past. You don't make any good connection and importance with the events that happened here. And to be truthful, even the colonialism story and slavery didn't make any sense. I was old. I was 21 years, but I still could not connect. Like I couldn't see this is how difficult it was. This is how grave it was. I could not connect that. So until I start hearing the words from the people who live in the diaspora, they talk about the things they've gone through. I read about these events. I read about the Black Wall Street attacks. I read about the Tuskegee experiment. I read about all these things that happened, and I start to make a connection. I say, these people were taken from here forcefully. They were not willing to go. They were forcefully taken, or they were taken after being tricked into being told you're going to have a great life. And then reaching there, they are being treated badly. They are being mistreated. And all these things have happened to them. I started making a connection between the diaspora and Africans in the diaspora and Africans here. And it made a lot of sense. I started to see the struggles of Africans in the diaspora and struggles of Africans here all on the same level. And it started to make sense. Then I was looking at the situation in my country, in Uganda. As I look at joblessness, I look at the kind of brainwashing the youth go through. I look at the kind of education that doesn't allow you to learn about yourself and your story. The only education you have is education training you to admire someone else. I look at the health system. I look at the corruption. I look at the judicial injustices that happen every day. And I said, now I know this is what it is. And I know what exactly I'm required to do. The fact that I've been so lucky and privileged to learn about these things puts me in a position that makes me a leader, makes me an educator, makes me a teacher. And I have to wake up the people who are sleeping, those taking their time in slumber and actually feeling like things are normal, like it's normal to live in this kind of life. We've got to wake them up. That was the beginning of my journey to becoming a Pan-Africanist, and I've never looked back. So this is me. So shortly after doing that reading, I was able to do an album that is called Making History, that was released in 2012 with the help of diaspora. And still, I put that album out, and it was actually dedicated to Black America. And after that, I have every day I have been so much growing. I've been growing every day and loving the people, loving the struggle. Like, it's tough, it's really hard, but you gotta love to do it. You gotta love staying in the ring. Like, you can only win once you stay in the ring and you say, we are fighting. This is the way. You cannot fight outside it. You have to stay inside it. And this is why I'm here. And this is where I come from. And this is Brenda. This is me. So last year, when I came out and said, I want to try and run for the highest office in Uganda, for many people, it was such a shock, because I'd been in the media. I'm a journalist, and I was doing administration at one media house. I was doing a social entrepreneurship with very many communities in Imbara, Bushenyi, Ntungamo, and elsewhere. So when I came out, I had actually gone through some persecution for being too vocal about some issues in Uganda. I had been detained twice. I was doing quotes like, you are facing this. You have started to face the real life of what it means to live in a country that's not free. So when I came out to run for office, I said, I am doing this because I want to promote the Pan-Africanism agenda. I want the people to know that this is what we should be standing for. The politicians out there in Africa should be doing politics with Africa at the center of everything. Correct. We should be speaking Pan-Africanism, even in offices. We should be speaking Pan-Africanism at those highest platforms every time we get a chance. Because the reason why you see Africa the way it is because we have politicians and people in power who have totally no clue. They have no clue about what Africa wants. Even when they have a clue, they don't care. They don't care because the kind of mindset they have is different from the kind of mindset my sister has. They have been schooled in a system that tells them, you know what, it's okay to be corrupt. It's okay to shoot people on the streets. It's okay to shut up people who are trying to speak out. It's okay to kill. Like, this is the way they know. They don't know any better. And because they want to stay in power, they do that. So once we don't fight to make sure we put our people, I'm saying our people in quotes, because I'm saying the only people who are ours are those who think like us, those who have Africa at heart, those who have Africa's interests at the center of everything they do. Every decisions, every policy is being made must have Africa at heart. So this also takes me back. It takes me back to the past. Let me get out of Uganda and then speak about Burkina Faso. When Thomas Sankara became president, he made great policies, but every policy he made was for Africa. He said, once we don't do policies for Africa, who's going to do them for us? You expect the IMF and World Bank to do policies that favor you? You expect the United Nations to do policies that favor you? It's only the African people who can do policies that help the people, that have the interest of the African people. So a leader who is in power and doesn't know this is a great mistake. And this is why I said I attempted to run for that office, and whatever steps I took, I was taking this agenda with me everywhere I went. Every group of people I met, all the youth I spoke to, I told them, I am not here to play the politics you have always known. I'm here to tell you about Africa. And this is what every leader should be doing. This is what every person aspiring for political office should be doing. That's me.
Yeah, but Brenda, you were already so close. I remember when you came, we already were mobilizing everything that you need to even get into the nominee list. And 2 days after, I just got a shock that what was that you withdrew just 2 days to your nomination?
Okay, yes, that's what exactly happened. My name was among the 22 names of the list that was making it to nomination. And 2 days before a nomination day, I dropped out of the race. Not under duress. No one asked me to do that. It was my decision. And that decision, I did it after seeing all that was happening at the Electoral Commission, the injustices that were happening in Kampala, and the way it looked like some of the candidates that were actually opposition were enjoying being, or let me say, conspiring to put in place a government that's oppressing the people by giving people a false image that, yes, we have opposition. Because I'm going to say that once you agree to play a game, you first agree with the rules of the game. So while we were doing the signatures, I reached the Electoral Commission and I actually found out that very many candidates that were going through didn't look for signatures. They were never spotted in any of the localities in Uganda looking for signatures. They were buying signatures from the Electoral Commission.
Wow.
I saw that. And then the people who were in the field looking for signatures, spending a lot of money looking for signatures, were being sidelined. Like, you bring this list of people and the Electoral Commission is telling you 20 names from your list are invalid. When actually you went to the people, got their signatures, they have identity cards. And sometimes you look at the voters' registers and these people are not in the voters' registers. And the reason why is not on the side of the people, it's on the side of the Electoral Commission. They omit some of the names out of the registers for a reason. So all these things I saw. And I said, if the injustices are happening at this level, I don't expect to have justice when we are doing real campaigns. I don't expect to have justice when we are close to election day. And to be truthful, this is exactly what happened. When I dropped out, and some of the members that decided to continue, which I am saying, deciding to continue means you are saying, yes, the system is fine. The system is fair. We can run. So my dropping out was my protest. That was what my way of protesting the system. I said, this is wrong. This is not just. I cannot play this game. I cannot go on. So those that decided to go on can tell the story. I think they can tell the story. We lost many people who were shot on the streets for supporting a particular candidate, for being on a side that's against the government. We have people in prisons who were arrested in those days. They are in prison to this day. They haven't been produced in courts. And some of the people that's been produced have been produced in military courts, which is really, really so strange. Like, these are civilians. They've been produced in military and charged with military offenses. We have people who were kidnapped. We have people who were kidnapped and they've never been found. And recently, there's a trend of a type of car that they use to kidnap people. So every time people see that car, they say, once you see this car in this village, you know they are going to take someone. And they are not taking people who are normal. They are taking people who are speaking out. They are taking people who are speaking out. So all these things happen. They are still happening. And they explain part of the reasons why I dropped out of the race. And I'm saying this because I want to wake up the Ugandan people that it's their responsibility. It's their responsibility to protest a system that's unfair. If you keep voting, participating in unfair elections and campaigns, you are endorsing it. You are endorsing the system that's taking your freedoms, that's oppressing you. If people are supposed to wake up and say, we need reforms before we can participate in these elections, they should do that. Because we do not want to be wasting time. We waste a lot of money. This is a country where everyone knows this is a poor country, but they got enough money to run in an unfair political system. So why should we waste all that? Why can't we channel this money to pressure the government to make sure every time there is these campaigns, we want it to be fair. We want to make sure we are running, we are participating in a fair environment. So that is it. That is it for me.
Brenda, we have, I think President Museveni is going to be sworn in on the 12th. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. How is the situation? How is the situation on the ground? I know.
Well, the situation is calm. We are peaceful, but again, the kidnappings are going on. And those young men and women who are arrested have not been released. We hope so much after he swears in, they will be released. We pray, because they've been there for more than 3 months now. The situation, maybe he expects that people might want to protest his swearing in, which I don't think is true. But because he knows that things have not been fair in the past, so he is skeptical every time he expects something bad is going to happen. So the security is always alert and tight, and because I don't really think Ugandans really want to engage in this. I think we will let him do the swearing because we know what it means. We know what it means to waste time. We don't want to waste time. He will do the swearing, and the people on the ground who are trying to bring about change which should come in every endeavor, socially, economically, and politically, need to have the time and the stage to do that. So the swearing is coming, and we hope so much it will go well. And many of us are saying, no, he's not the legitimate president. But what are we going to do? We're not going to fight. We're not going to go on the streets and throw stones. We have to keep doing the mobilization with our people, showing them the way and asking them to take the right steps. And I personally, I am telling the youth where I have so much interest, I'm saying, you cannot be poor, you cannot be jobless, and again at the same time be on the streets throwing stones at people who have guns. We need to choose our fights very carefully. We need to make sure we are empowered enough, because one of the tricks, I would also call it a tactic, that repressive and oppressive governments use is to make sure people are economically down. They economically depress you and kill you. So when you feel like you want to reason with them, you're not in position to. You're not in a good state. You cannot speak about politics when you don't have food. You cannot speak about politics when you don't have electricity, when they're shutting down the internet. So the people need to fight in a different way. We need to make sure our youth in every village are empowered. They know this truth we are speaking about. They can access information. They can do some businesses. Currently, there is something going on in Parliament, and I think they've passed the bill. I need to check, but there's going to be taxation, overtaxation. They are trying to overtax the small businesses. They are trying to overtax everyone that has got something they are doing. The taxation and overtaxation is meant to destroy people economically, because these are people who have been crying of poverty. They do not have jobs. How do you overtax them? How do you tax them? Even this internet we use, data. You want to buy data to access information, but you have to pay 12%. So all these things are happening, and the youth who really want change need to think differently and know that we need change, but we need to start from the ground, from the grassroots, and make sure we can change the thinking, have initiatives that we are doing ourselves. We cannot keep crying to the government that doesn't care, and this is the situation.
I like the approach, and I think all of us are understanding why a mother or a woman look at that approach differently. So I see that kind of volunteerism where it's really about just doing the right thing, but also saving lives. Yeah, saving lives is actually one of the biggest concerns for us mothers. For us, it's not really about the power on the space, but even just saving lives. But we know this kind of politics and these tricks, like she's saying, just do it, and then you get the rioting. And it has been going on as a canker worm. We have seen it in every format, and the same format goes on for decades to decades. So we need to change strategy, and that's why I'm betting and swearing and putting my hands on you, Brenda, and the other presidential candidates in the different African countries that we're lobbying to get, from this perspective. Why particularly, or what is it that you think? You already said all the predecessors come and they do the same thing. For instance, they have the same partners. Yeah, foreign relation is the same. It's the same government. They work with America, they work with Europe. We're not saying that we're ever going to cut everyone. Why is it that you would do it differently? And why do you think that women are not actually stepping up, to take their responsibility to build Africa?
Women, that's something I really, really pay attention to. Women, and wherever you are, if you're watching, if you're listening, I want to tell you that the world is waiting on you. You are the only one who will save, especially Africa. So me saying this is not saying it's easy. And I'm not saying that every woman can, but I'm speaking from a perspective of experience. I have done very many things, especially with communities and talking to different people and trying to change communities. I have really tried my best working with different people. And in my work, I realized that it's always the women that don't want to participate. And once you get close to them and you ask them why, they always tell you the truth. They say, we are not allowed to, we are not expected to, we were not raised to do that. Some of the women who are married are not actually allowed by their spouses. Their spouses think once she goes to do that, she's going to be out of control and she's not going to be manageable. And when they tell you that, they are actually telling you you're supposed to be managed like you're some kind of property. So my message because I have actually read, and I know that in ancient Africa, women did more compared to today. In ancient Africa, we had queen fighters. In ancient Africa, we had thrones where the queens were the overall. And the kings and the men and everyone else actually listened. And they didn't complain as we see today. So it is in today's world where we have very many men telling the people that women cannot be leaders. I hear this all the time. Like when we have a new woman president, people start saying she won't manage. Like before she even starts, how can a country be led by a woman? This is the kind of mentality that diminishes and demeans the mothers. The same men who say that have so much respect for their mothers. So if you want to diminish and demean and destroy a woman's power, you need to start with your own mother. If you can destroy your mother, then we shall agree that you know what you're doing. But if you really can't, it's high time you realize that your approach is wrong and you need to let your mother, your sister, your wife be at the table of decision making. Use their skills, talents, and intellect to build. You also need to make sure you give them credit where it's deserving. For example, I need to echo this. I need to echo this tonight. We have cried in the past that we do not have African media. And every time there's something to say, the narratives are shaped by other medias. But in this day, we have Dr. Susan Tata with the Pan-African Daily TV. We have Sister Shanice Shaw. We have Sister Juliet Ryan. I am only listing this to show you that the women you haven't respected, the women you have demeaned, the women you haven't thought who can do anything are actually setting trend. They are changing the world. They are setting the pace. They are actually providing, they are giving us the alternative media that we call the African, and the narratives we are listening to tonight, and all the days and all the people on the show, we know they are being shaped by the African child. These platforms are entertaining and giving enough space for the men to speak up and talk about what they are doing. So the women need to wake up and realize that there is so much power they are harboring, and we want them to bring it out. We want them to bring it out and use it to build our nations. I have a big conviction, a very big conviction, that actually the only reason we are the way we are, the only reason we are still crying Africa is like this, Africa is poor, Africa is at the bottom, Africa is being used, Africa is being plundered, is because we don't have enough women in leadership. And I'm going to ask the men to agree with me, because for very many decades, it's the men. It's the men who are leading. It's the men with the biggest numbers in parliaments. It's the men who are presidents. It's the men who are prime ministers. It's the men who are heads of families. Everywhere, the district education officers are the men. The resident district commissioners are the men. And that's the mess. That's the mess we are in. So once we actually wake up these women and tell them, we want you to get that power that you're hiding out and use it to build, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The more women we can bring on board and actually tell them, you have that power, bring it out. We need it so much. Our world will be saved. We will save the day. And this is why I'm saying, for the women that are trying to run for office, please do not stop. Don't let anything stand in your way. Nothing should stand in your way, because we look up to you and we know the future depends on you.
Absolutely. Thank you for actually articulating that. Another experience with this women issue and leadership on the continent. For instance, when we posted, and talk about you being on the show and women taking over, to be honest with you, 97% of those that were for and actually happy to be on this conversation were men. Women, like you're saying. So it's complex. I know from my own experience that even my man is the one that pushing. Women have to go forward. Women have to, it's not all, I understand. But to be honest with you, the 21st century African man and those, like you said, watching us are the ones that actually are preparing the battle for the queen. So I think now it is left on us. We're going to get that percentage, and not everybody is going to be like that. Of course, there would be kings who would say, you know what, madam, no, that's not what we agree on. We agree. We agree. Not everyone, like you said, is going to be there. But I still want you to articulate on this point that you say the fear of the woman. Does it actually match? We're going to do a census and a research on this, right?
So when you say, when you posted about this show, there were many men supporting.
Yes.
I agree with you. There's a time I would receive messages from strange men, like men I have not known, men I have not met, and especially from the diaspora. And they tell me, sister, we need the queens to help us. Like, that's humbling. I'm like, this is it. Like, the only thing that the woman needs is the man to say, please go on. Please go
Correct.
on, save the children. Because you are the mother, you're supposed to save. Save the land, save the children, save the morals, save the economics, save the food. Everything must be saved by you. The kings can only be kings when the queens are in place.
Correct.
I don't think that there's any king that happens without a queen. So if the kings are treating the women like slaves, then they will not be kings. So they better realize that, yes, it's now us, the men, the kings, to tell these women that you're queens now because we want you to be. So let you be in your rightful places and help. Give the help that's needed to save the day. So the women, as you say, that it's now actually up to us. I agree with you. I agree with you, because I say, when I stepped out and said, I want to do this, it wasn't anyone telling me do it. It was me saying, I want to do this, and I actually feel I can do it, and I am ready, and I'm saying, I don't want anyone to say you can't do it. And even when you say I can't do it, I'll still do it, because it's coming from deep inside. It's a conviction, and it's the time. I say the time is just right that we, the women, wake up. So the women who are saying, I can speak better than Brenda, I can do better than her, I can organize better than her, but I don't want to do it. Those women are the ones we need. And every time we find such a woman, we don't argue. We do not argue. We just follow. But most of our women, I want to be truthful in this, most of our women are refusing and spending so much time in gossip, witchcraft, jealousies, prostitution, bleaching their skins. You know what? The women who are supposed to be changing the world are doing the wrong things. And these wrong things they are doing are the ones that make the men feel like women cannot lead. The women think, how can we say a woman, how can a woman be a president? Because everything they have known about a woman is the other weak side. She's always asking, begging for support, money, and food. Like she can only get a roof on top of her head when she gets a man. She can't have her own car. She can't do her own program like Dr. Susan Tata is doing. Like, when the women keep telling the world that I always need someone to help me, I always need someone to push me, I can only fight over a man because of their wealth, then that's the reason why the men would want to think that these women cannot lead. But the more women come out and say, no, we can actually change the situation. We can help. We can teach the children. We can plan. we can provide food, we can lead better, the men are going to follow. They are going to accept, and they are going to bless us, and they are going to support us. So it's both ways. It's both ways. You have the women letting down. You have the men saying, no, you can't for a reason. And then you have us who are saying, you can tell me anything. I know what it is. I know what the truth is, and I'm standing for that. And I want to show you the way because I know it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Perfectly said. I don't know how we can even put it again in another kind of a context. I'm loving this because every woman that is waking up is taking that responsibility. But Brenda, you would all agree with me. This has to do with too much sacrifice and volunteerism. And so we see like young queens and other women are still studying. They have children. They have other responsibilities to do. That is also some of the challenges that we need the men that are enjoying all these privileges to take up some of those responsibilities, and give that space for the women to also, volunteer according to their passion. What I would like, I have two more questions and I'm opening up the line. The last question would be like, how does your agenda look like? I mean, you're now we're sitting in to be a nominee in the next 4 years or 5 years after Museveni. So in this period of time, like I know your agenda already, but I just want you to educate our audience. Like you're focusing on the youth, you're targeting the women worldwide. Who are your external partners? I also know you look too much and rely on the diaspora. But in terms of, what about China, West and stuff? I know you're not considering them, but how does your plan in this 4-5 years to your nomination look like? Just keep it short. I know we'll walk about the details.
Okay. My agenda, as I said before, is to make sure I wake up as many young people in Uganda as I can. Currently, we are engaging university students, and the only thing we are giving them right now is education, a different alternative education where we want to wake them up to see the truth that we see.
Correct.
We know that the things we want are with the people. The population is big. The people have the things we want. They have the skills, the talents, and everything, but they are not organized. They don't know what to give. They don't know what to offer, and they don't know what to ask. They don't know the right things to ask. They always ask for the wrong things. So in these 5 years, I am taking my time to educate the youth, alongside asking them to all be entrepreneurial. We want them to have entrepreneurship ventures that they engage in. We want the whole world to see. We have already put in place a platform where they will be showcasing, and the whole world can see what these young people are doing. That's our way of empowering them. The platform is going to be called Tribal Roots. We will have different tribes going around the world, connecting youth across the world to make sure we support them and to make sure the products they have are known and are supported. Once we do this, we have empowered the youth to be able to speak about anything, to make the right judgment. Right now, they are not even confident to speak because they are so economically down. They are so economically beaten. They need answers. They do not see the answers. So as a woman, I am providing solutions to the youth. And I would like to also say, I want to ask the other people aspiring for politics in the next 5 years that it's not your office that it's important. It's you and how you can impact your community. If you're saying you want to change the face of leadership, like we want to remove Museveni and have a new leader, how about the people? How about the communities? How about the social structure? If we can't change the structure on that level, changing the face won't help much. That's why I said the presidents are repeating what the other presidents did because they are refusing to look at the roots. So we are doing these tribal roots groups countrywide to make sure the youth can engage. Instead of having them thrown on the streets protesting and being shot at, let's have them doing carpentry. Let's have them studying IT. Let's have them learning how to communicate. Let's have them producing clothes. Let's have them producing things we need. Let's have them learning about our story. This is where I am headed for, and I have already started. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Kabale University students, and we were actually commissioning the Tribal Roots Kabale University. It was wonderful, and they are on the shore washing. I know that, and this is what I really want to do. I want to save very many youth from being in danger, putting themselves in the face of danger, just because we need to change things. So when I return in the next 5 years and I'm asking for votes, please don't ask me my agenda, because I will show I will show you my agenda. I will show you my agenda and the results. I will show you that we've changed things. It's up to you to vote for the person that's changed things. It's up to you to not vote for that person. But we are here to change Africa. And this agenda is not stopping in Uganda. It's going to be crossing across the borders. We will be in Kenya. This area will be in Kenya, and we will be in Ghana. That's what I am.
Powerful, my queen. I mean, I'm loving it. I mean, you are my candidate number one. But like you said, we need 10. We're already talking about we need 10. Now we know that we already have 2. You know, the post 2. We know we have Ethiopia. We have a Tanzania now. And we are looking forward to have Liberia on board. We're looking forward to have Uganda. We're looking forward. We already have an aspirant for Nigeria and for Ghana. So we're calling on, I'm talking about women. Yes. At least if we have 10, just 10 first. So we're going to give the men just 10%, leave their 80% to whoever. So we're looking for volunteers like yourself, you know, because we know that the new Africa is not going to be changed like you're saying. It has to be people that have a call to lead, to support, to help, to take Africa to the next level. So it's not going to be some Harvard school or whatever that is coming from a World Health or taking IMF. Yes, we'll take that, but at our own terms and our own conditions, right? So we are set on the journey to get 10 queens in the next coming elections in the countries of their origin. And please if you are one of those aspirants on the countries, on your country, you look at the situation of your country, you say, no, something has to be done about it. Please make sure you reach out to us. Brenda is in that group. We are also in that group. We're starting that leadership we need only 10 supporters, in their different countries. And we give them all the support, all the mandates they need. We're going to lobby. We're going to vote them. Our 1 million soldiers would be active. We're going to sponsor and fund them and build the military, the education and everything. And these women will liberate their countries. We are set to go, and we're serious, and we're on mission, and we trust us. When mothers speak, they deliver. When they're pregnant, the baby must come out, isn't it? So right now, we are pregnant.
Yes, we are pregnant with the idea, so the labor pains are better be on the way. So, sis, I would like to thank you for mentioning that, and I would also like to say, when women come out and say they want to lead, let's look at them as human beings. Because I always tell the people, I say, we were human beings before we were women. So before you look at my gender, before you start demeaning me because of my gender, think about me being a human being who was created and for a purpose. So I'm trying to serve my purpose for humanity as a human being first, as a woman second. Thank you.
Brenda, I know it takes a lot, like you're saying. You've already been saying, and what I see from everything that your agenda is putting forward is capacity building. Now, what is the support that you need? You know, we have the skills, like you said, you got empowered through the history of the diaspora. And whether we play around or do what is the diaspora, our brothers that know the true history that were hijacked, they're the ones teaching us, whether we like it or not, because on the continent, we still don't even know who we are, most that are not awoke. So that agenda that you're putting is the first step, building from the root to first of all, free the mind, and then the rest will just follow. It's going to be very easy, right? So what is the support in terms of capacity, or how do you think that we can support your work in the next 5 years?
Okay, in the next 5 years, yes, in the next 5 years, we are hoping so much we will have a resource center, a very wonderful and big resource center in Uganda that will house a library where our people, our young people can come to read about the stories and history and great stories of Africa. The library will also have a part of a museum. We will have a gaming hall, and we also will have a theater. That is where our education is beginning. And we are saying education because we understand that the only kind of education we ever had is what we have called miseducation. The education that doesn't tell us about us, ourselves, our struggle, and everything. So the people that really want to support us and the work we are doing can support us is in very many ways. We need teachers. We need people who can tell the right stories from the past. We also need elders who can tell those stories. We need people to work with on putting our structure on the ground, the architecture, and because we want to have magnificent structures, you know, how exactly how we had the pyramids. So we are rebuilding the pyramids of our times. So everything we shall touch shall be special in a way. So that's why, you know, when I dropped out of the race, it was last year in October, and very many people were pressuring me. They were telling me, why can't you come out and speak and tell us what you want? I said, people, we don't want to lead the people nowhere. We are taking the right steps. We are taking our time. We do not want to rush and crash. So what we are doing right now is taking the right steps to build pyramids of our time that will last for years and years and that will help our people. Anyone that needs to support us, you are welcome on board. You can contact us. We need money. You know, all these activities we do, we shall need money to do all these things, to travel, to reach these students, to support their entrepreneurship projects. We shall need lots and lots of money to do that. So I may have to call upon all the people on this platform that we are having a charity concert on the 27th of June for the same cause. For the same cause. That charity concert is happening virtually. Anyone around the world can watch it, and the ticket is very, very cheap. We want all the people from all Pan-African platforms, from all parts of the world to support this concert. If you really believe in freedom, if you believe in freedom of every person, you need to support this concert because it's about supporting this agenda and project that I'm speaking about to emancipate and give freedom to those African people who are downtrodden. So if anyone wants to support, please go ahead and contact me. You can contact Dr. Susan, you can contact me. And I think I can give my contacts if it's okay.
It's very okay. Come on, go ahead.
On Facebook, it's Katushemererwe Brenda. That's Facebook. Then you can also go on my artist page, Alina Zahil. That is ALEENAZAHIR on Facebook. That's also found on YouTube. Then on those platforms, I'll be sharing the link to the concert very, very soon. You can as well contact Dr. Susan Tata. She talks directly to me anytime. She calls me even at night. So once you contact her, you know the message will reach me so well. So the people that are trying to make a change, we are connecting. We want to see how to support each other to make sure we bring about the change that we preach about every day.
Thank you so very much. We'll keep also repeating about this the concert. We will get more details about that so we can share that every time on the line and ask people to register and support, particularly what you're doing. Education is just that. We keep talking about changing the mind. If we don't first of all liberate the minds would always think in the past. So congratulations to you, Brenda. I'm opening up the lines. Like I said, the questions are up now. If you have a direct question to call in, use our WhatsApp number +49 1578 211 2379. I already got a comment from our brothers or our sisters in the Caribbean and saying, we in the Caribbean, we have no issues with women taking leadership. We are used to that. We're developed. We even think that we, like the lions, we have to protect our lioness. And so we need this kind of mindset, this kind of education to support also our brothers that are still very ignorant or still entangled into some of this kind of tribal thing. I know why you're bringing the tribal issue, because that's one of the biggest things that divides us, tribalism. Tribalism is the biggest problem that we're having on the continent. And the more we we move above that to look at a big picture, not the small picture, I think we're going to liberate a lot. So I have the first caller on the line. Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Dinesh.
Yes.
Once again, I really like what Auntie said about women having more women power, see more women, Black women, African women in Africa to lead, because we have Black men the power to lead, but they continue failing us, failing the countries, failing the continent. So I believe that women should give time to the women. But also my question is for Auntie Brenda. I'm in the UK, I'm 21 years old. I just want to ask, what do you think about the tribalism countries such as Ghana and where they fight? One of them, they think they're better than one another. What do you think?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. A very pertinent question. What do you think about this division fighting amongst us, particularly the issue of tribalism?
The issue of tribalism is everywhere. In Uganda, there's a time it was really bad. But there is one thing. I was asked that question when I was running for president, and I told the people, we understand this tribalism, and we are almost reaching a point where we want to say we don't want tribes. We do not want to have tribes because they are bringing about all these conflicts that are unending. But I would like to say we cannot exist without the tribes.
Correct.
We would be so much bored. We would be so much bored without the tribes. I'll speak about the tribes in Uganda as an example. Tribes in Uganda are also having different economic activities where they are. So excellent. There are people who keep cattle. They graze cattle and they produce milk and meat. And there are people who can do farming in terms of doing crops on the soil. There are people who can do other types of activities. We need all these things. We need to, I may not have cattle, but I need milk. I may not be a farmer, but I need some bananas. So this tribe is strong in doing something the other tribe cannot do. So we need to harness and realize and agree that all these tribes are useful in the development and existence of Africa. The only thing that's happening is injustice. We are having too many injustices, and they are the injustices that have culminated into tribal conflicts. Once this president is in power and is doing too much favoritism on his tribe, or is trying to harass another tribe, this tribe that is having this injustice, that is suffering the injustice, thinks they are suffering because of their tribe. They are actually suffering because of bad leadership. Leadership should make sure it is leadership for all the tribes. So the only thing we can do is to pursue healing. We have to pursue healing and make sure we resolve these conflicts, because as I said before, as mothers, we're supposed to care enough to make sure there's reconciliation. We make sure people understand their stories. Some people are fighting and conflicting because they do not know where they are coming from. They do not know where these conflicts are stemming from. So we are saying it's us to make sure we tell the tribes, yes, we need you so much. We need these different tribes, but we need them to realize that we need them on a positive note. We need to realize their strength, what they can contribute to society, and how they should be proud of their tribes, how they should not use their tribe to oppress another tribe.
Correct.
And these things are happening. So the issue of land, when you find, like in my country, when they are doing this land, they call it land grabbing. Some government officials will come and grab, or some powerful people will come and grab land from the weak. And I will repeat, this is still injustice coming from leadership. It's not coming from tribes. Once the leaders stand up and say, we do not want these things to happen, these things will cease from happening. So as much as we know that tribalism is happening, let's understand that it's coming from a point of bad leadership. It's coming from a point of injustice. It's coming from a point of bad leaders, and we can deal with this. We can fight this.
Okay.
As tribes together.
All right. I have the next caller on the line. Hello. Hello. Okay. There's some challenges with reconnecting and connection. I know you're listening or you're seeing me. I'm struggling to pick your calls, but there's some disconnection out there. Anyway, just try again, and yeah, if we're lucky, we get it through. Yeah, the bad governance, we see it in all these economies or the different countries, and like you say, we're not going to stop the strife. We have to even stop calling ourselves tribes. Now we're talking about the one Africa, the Pan-Africanism. So the more we understand the concept that we are one, tribalism will just disappear. All right. I have the next caller. Hello.
Hello, Susan.
Good evening, my queen. That's the Ugandan queen in the Netherlands. Now you're waking up some fire here. Go ahead, my dear.
Good evening, Queen.
I can see you smiling.
Always having me on this program.
Yeah.
And I would like to welcome another Ugandan queen from Uganda. I'm really happy to hear somebody also coming from Uganda talk about Ugandan issues.
Yes.
Now, this question is, I have about a few questions for Brenda to answer for me, because I'm a Ugandan in diaspora. What happens back home affects me and affects us. So it's really good to hear people who are on the ground talk about the issues that have happened in Uganda. Tell us really what is happening. Yes, we read in media and we know a lot of things, but when you come and talk to us about it, it's really something special.
Mm-hmm.
So my questions are actually, because not on elections. And you say that you dropped out of the elections because you saw firsthand the injustices and the double standards of the Electoral Commission in Uganda.
Mm.
Now my question is, what did you do to highlight and to inform the country and the candidates who were trying to change the narrative then? That's my first question.
Okay.
My second question is, you also talked about certain candidates who were mistreated during the elections. What exactly did you do? Perhaps as a person who is aspiring to take the highest office in Uganda in few years, probably.
Mm.
That's my third question. You also talked about, Dr. Susan asked you about the situation in Uganda, and you said it is calm. Can you really explain to me what do you mean by Ugandans are calm in this situation? The first question I want to ask you is, having said all the above, and having said that the elections in Uganda were unfair and they were not free, my question to you is, do you therefore think that Mwanamke-Mfaume won the elections and therefore he is the right candidate to be sworn in? Do you believe that he won these elections? My fifth question would be,
how do you advise Ugandans to go about this? Because it's a very painful situation right now. As far as I am concerned in the diaspora, I live in the diaspora, but I also live in Uganda because my family lives in Uganda. I talk to them every day, so whatever happens there happens to me. So my question is, how, as the Queen of Uganda, because we want you to be the Queen of Uganda, how do you advise Ugandans to accept or to go on or go about this situation? Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will pick this up because of the connection. I know you've noted them. Yes, so that we can answer at the same time if there's some more questions. Hello? 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 It's unfortunate. I think your internet is so damn bad. Right, Brenda, over to you.
All right. The sister from the Netherlands, she's saying she's a Ugandan. I welcome you and I appreciate your questions because it shows me you've been paying attention. I'm going to answer the first question she asked, which is also, I think, connected with the second. She asked, you said you saw injustices at the EC. What did you do? And she also said, you say some candidates were being mistreated. What did you do? And this is my answer. I dropped out of the race 2 days to nomination day after seeing all the injustices and after ascertaining that once you accept to play in the game,
That's it. Schwierig. Yeah, not much. I just hope that she's speaking, but we can't hear her. Brenda, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. So, yeah, we can hear her and she can't even hear us, but she's speaking. She's answering.
Seen a disconnection. So I was answering and I said, when I dropped out of the race, I was sending a message that the race is not fair and anyone that keeps running is running in something they have accepted for fair. For me, it wasn't. And I needed them to wake up and see what I was seeing and act. If I had to do something, I still would need the rest of the people to do it. So why I am saying what I'm saying and why I have been speaking to my people and saying this is not the right way, and why I also mentioned that we are wasting a lot of resources doing things we can never do, doing things where we lose from day one. So that's what I did. And I am not stopping telling the people that these things need to be streamlined and we actually need to have a fair environment before we run, before we waste too much money, before we lose people on the streets. So talking about the people that were being mistreated during campaigns, what did I do? What could I have done? What could I have done when the people were being beaten and shot at? The only thing I did was speak up. I was speaking up. I was using my platforms to speak up against these injustices. But I am taking another step, as I said before. I am going to the youth directly from wherever they are to the roads to tell these people, don't again go on the streets to be shot at. The approach is wrong. It has been tested. It has failed. Don't agree to be part of a dangerous pursuit. Let's work on ourselves. Let's heal ourselves. Let's look at the economic war because they are using the economic war to destroy you. So when you come to the political arena, you have no chance. So this is what I did, and I'm still doing it. So she asked and say, you say the political situation right now is calm. What do you mean by that? And this is what I mean. The people are going about their businesses. The people wake up every day and they open their shops. and there's no excitement about the swearing in, there are no signs there could be protests or some kind of demonstrations. As we had before in the campaigns, when you would see bullets swaying in the streets, in the air, that's not what's happening. So when I say the situation is calm, this is what I mean. We are busy. I am here having this interview. Like, that wouldn't be the case if we were not calm. Maybe the internet would be shut down as it was done before. So yes, the situation is calm, but we know the danger underneath. So she says, what advice do you give to the people of Uganda? And I like this question so much, and I'm going to answer it this way. If I could do it, if all wishes were true, I would ask the people of Uganda to not participate in voting next time something like this happens. That would be my advice. Stop endorsing a system that's suppressing you, a system that doesn't allow you to play fair, a system that doesn't give you freedoms to express yourself, a system that suffocates you, a system where you go into the battlefield knowing you're a loser. Stop empowering it. Stop endorsing it. If every Ugandan woke up and said, we are not voting, we are not participating in these campaigns because it's not fair, I don't think they would be legitimate. I don't think the president would be legitimate. So this is what I would do if I could. If I had known before, this is what I would have asked. But we say we don't really regret any things because everything happens for a reason. There's a reason to everything, to every step you take. And at this point where we are, my advice, my biggest advice, especially to the youth, is to make sure they focus on improving their lives from their mind to their physical bodies, to their health, to their relations they have in the communities. We must make sure we are empowered enough for when the time comes. Thank you so much.
I think there was also a question that she asked, do you really believe that President Museveni won the election?
Okay.
But I think you already answered in another format, but maybe she would just like you to give a straight opinion.
Okay, let me answer her. President Museveni could not win if the campaigns and the whole system was fair. If he knew he would win, he would not put this so much pressure and oppression on the opposition. If he knew he had the support, he did that. The oppression, suppression, arrests, and the shootings were done for a reason, because he thought the opposition is powerful and they are going to win. So if he used bullets and intimidations and arrests and kidnappings to be the president, I cannot stand and say he won. He forced himself onto that seat, and that's exactly what happened in 1986 when he was coming to power. It doesn't surprise me at all. That's what it has been for the last decades. So, but what do we say? He's the president of Uganda. Yeah.
It is so clever. I like the way you put it. You're damn so right. Saving life is the first thing. And then even that idea that you pull behind, look at the system and say, no. You know, it's like for Christians, like Goliath, you pull behind and then you take a leap into the future. That is beautiful. You know, sometimes we know that we are failing and we don't accept. We live in denial. Most presidential candidates know the reality, but they live in denial. And they live in denial. And when the time comes, when it's what they were anticipating, you see, and then we start calling on the international community is silent. No, you should be smart and know how to play the game.
Yes,
you should know when is the time to pull out and when is the time to engage. But of course, like in your own case in Uganda, I saw it was already almost late for the opposition. They were already in the middle. They had to pull on something, and they have brought really meaningful change. They've exposed a lot in that context. I also think if they had just pulled up, then the story of Uganda would not be today. So everything actually happened, like you said, for a purpose. But you pulling out to assess the situation, that is a big, big strength. It is not a weakness. On the contrary, saving lives.
Yeah, and sis,
yes,
some of the people that supported me, they were so angry when I pulled out. Some of them came to blame me for wasting their time and doing this and that. I told them in due time, you will know that I wasn't wrong to pull out of the race. Recently, I got calls from some of the people that were on my team, and they said, we right now know you pulled out for a good reason, and we thank you. And I asked them, can you tell me that reason? They told me very many people are dying in Kampala and the government is killing people from opposition. And I said, that has been the case for very many years. And that's not the only reason why I pulled out. I pulled out because we need to win. We need to win, and we cannot win by accepting to lose. You accept to play a game where you are the loser and you know you are a loser, you will never win. So you need to strategize, know when to withdraw and know when to attack. So I also want to tell the Ugandan youth and say, these things will not last forever. You are fighting with the current president and his regime and his people. There's going to be a time when we won't see these people around.
Yes.
Everyone is going to die someday. All of us are going to have to die someday. So we don't expect to have young people of 12 years dying before those of 80 died.
Yes.
So I say, it's time for you to prepare for takeover, because takeover is coming anyway.
Yes.
Nothing lasts forever. So that's why I'm saying the approach that you should take is to make sure they get prepared for when the time comes, so that we do not repeat history by having the same kind of leaders we've had before, because that's likely to happen if we are not careful.
Thank you. I'm picking up this call, and thank you so much. That was, hello?
Yes, good evening, Dr. Sudachaga.
Good evening. Finally, welcome.
Okay, thank you, and good evening to your guests, powerful women. Actually, me myself, I'm so grateful with the women to have a powerful women like you, as Dr. Susan Tata, as our guest, Queen from Uganda. It's really just touched my heart when she talked about reconciliation. Well, it's the time for us to hold up a revolution of understanding, not a revolution of 19th centuries, putting people in the street dying, putting people in the arms dying for nothing. It's a point we have to focus on. We need to reconcile ourselves and first solve our internal issues. Really, we are sometimes as opposition, aggressive oppositions. You know, people like Museveni or like any African country leaders, they have stayed in the leadership for over 20 years. They have put the roots. When we become aggressive on them, we are really playing a game of attack and defense. They're defending themselves and we are attacking them. Really, point is we have to reconcile among ourselves. We have to put them down and talk logically to change this manner of being wrong, of being misled. You know, some of our leaders, they are not capable of being leaders, but they force themselves to be leaders. Such people, if we try to push them hard, they will push us hard. Our most leaders, they're pretending they are the one in the S and the God up, nobody else. We need actually to be strong and think wisely.
Okay.
We need to dialogue. We need to reconcile ourselves before thinking about to change the leader in that way. Because most of them, they have a lot of mistakes. Most of them, they fear. If they leave that leadership, they are going to be tried. And they're seeing the example for most leaders. They are on trials And most parties, after they leave the power, they are going to also transfer the people are again. So really, we need our elders, we need our spiritual leaders, we need our religious leaders, we need our intellectual put attention on it. Let us put the things in the right position. Let everyone take the right position. Things must be cool down before we raise it.
Okay.
I really appreciate the lady. In fact, I don't get her name very well.
Brenda.
And I'm past to support you. And if it's possible, I'll pass person to meet you. I'm in Uganda. Your words are touched my heart. And this is what I want to hear, reconciliation. What rather than we put ourselves in the words and use our die by many numbers. And we cannot change in that manner.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, so I'll put you in touch. I'll share the contact. Thank you so much for your support. We need more men to come up, pick up, and but you know, Brenda, we don't have time to spend talking to Museveni's of 80. We have time. We have much to spend educating our young people on how we have to build them as a defense and a positive youth that is civilized and understand the game so well, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, I think we're rounding up the conversation. So what is it that you want to throw out there, like the last word? We've already heard the concert on the 27th of June would be a virtual concert, and we're looking forward for more participants. We'll be sharing more information about that, how you can register and how much it costs, for instance, and where is it going to take place, what channels. We'll be sharing that information at the Pan-African. And as you know, we are following up Brenda, one of our candidate aspirants at the Pan-African Daily TV, is the media for this new Africa and the leadership that we want with a Pan-African mindset and spirit in every aspect. And we're calling on the women to back this up. It is their time. No woman is going to sit and say the men did not give us. Like Brenda, she took upon it. She saw the need to help. We're saying it is volunteering and advocating to change the Africa. It is not a war, because we've been living in this mentality for long. When the woman says something, then it becomes Beijing. No, women have a right to volunteer, to help, to support. Otherwise, they would just say we're noisemaker. We can't even bring bread on the table. We can't even pay bills. So what are we talking about? So it is all about volunteering and advocacy. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do. If we have the President's Day and everything is working, I mean, we'll cross the legs and sit. You know how we like to enjoy, right? But remember, taking this kind of a position like Brenda is too much work. It is work in everything, and it is voluntary. Because the passion of saying I want to be a leader, you mean something. It's a passion. If you haven't tried it, try it. Just try and be that. And I thank you, Brenda, and all our candidates, even the aspirants for Ghana. You gave me the contact. Queen Shani, she's also going to be here with us in the coming days to give her own agenda for Ghana and what she thinks Ghana is doing wrongly, and that she could help to fix it. Why not? Yeah. And so a lot would be coming up. Remember, we are building. We're not saying that it's something that's going to happen tomorrow. But if we don't put the foundations now, where are we going to get the candidates, like she's saying? We need 5 years plan, to prepare the ground. And we need those 1 billion subscribers and to lead that enemy, that army to win this race. And we are getting there. We're never going to get any guns and bullets. We're too civilized to kill ourselves to become president. What for? I mean, if you look at Bobby Wine and all the stress and all the torments, I think if you sit down on a one-on-one, apart from political power and strategy and staying focused, she's gonna tell you a lot that she's been learning. And I'm waiting and I'm wishing that we'll have him one day when everything he's so focused on really just saving lives out there right now, building the country for reconciliation. And that's what I congratulate to all you Ugandans to take this step. Yeah, take this step. We don't want no more lives being killed, particularly those in the diaspora. It is easy to sit in the diaspora and say people should fight, but you sit comfortably. Please, no, we don't want no more blood. We're giving so more blood. Not only are the system shooting and killing our people on the street, but we again go and open our chest and say no because we want power. Power is knowledge of yourself. yourself, get all the power and everything. So I thank you, the part you're taking for reconciliation, for peace, for building ourselves, and to sit and talk and to give His Excellency Museveni a befitting retirement. I mean, we're going to celebrate her retirement. You know, we're not going to be chasing them to Hague. Hague is not African, and we're not going to send our leaders to Africa to Hague. We're going to build our own council. Yeah, if anything would go wrong, but we are peaceful people, and we are stronger than that. We're more than guns and bullets. We all know it. Yeah, and that's why we never had the technology to make weapons, because that's not our strength. Our strength is unity and love. And the world has no clue about that. That's why they keep killing themselves and producing all these weapons of mass destruction, because they lack love and unity. That one is not their gift. God refused that to them. So they have to fight. You know, anything is fight for love, fight for politics, fight for money, fight for everything. Africans, we were never brought up to fight. We just have it because we're blessed to have it. So, Brenda, one last word before we leave you, and once more, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'll remind the people viewing that slavery never ended. What you just talked about when you say the people make the guns and they want to be fighting all the time and they want to have us fighting is because the kind of slavery they did has got to continue. When they have you fighting each other, they have you hating each other, and they have you in strife all the time. They are conquering you, and that's what makes the divide and conquer. So what I am preaching tonight and what I want the youth to take up is to make sure we think about first things first. Survival, development, good health, good lives, food, peace, less conflicts, less crimes. Once we achieve those ones, and once we can tell our true story the way it is, we won't have to fight over power. Power will come to us, because we do not have power because we are fighting the wrong battles, and we have actually fighting misplaced wars. Power will find us, power will look for us, power will locate us, because we will have been prepared and ready to take it over. And I want to tell the Africans across the world that maybe you don't believe it, but I'm telling you this because I know it's true, that Africa is rising. Africa is rising, and once you see these women speaking up and saying, yes, we can do it, you better be ready, because we are going to take over. I thank everyone on the show tonight, and I want to say I love you so much, and I send you peace and love from Uganda to the whole world. Please support the Pan-African Daily TV. I'm going to encourage all the youth in Uganda, those I work with, those who love me, those I love, please come and support and like and support the Pan-African Daily TV. This is our BBC, and all the other platforms, of Africa, please, we need support for them, because this is what shapes our narrative. Thank you for giving me the platform to speak. Thank you for listening to me and paying attention, and for the patience. Peace and love.
Thank you very much, Brenda. We love you too, and all our prayers and all your support that you know you're my crunch woman number one, right? So we give you all anytime. So I'm going to connect people that would want to reach out to you, give me more information about the concert on the 27th. I know the Rapid Africa plan is also here. They're loving you, and they say, Brenda, we are all behind you. You already know the Rapid Africa plan. They'll also be coming on the show with their new agenda and the facelift. Yeah. And it's been long that we've not had them. Brother Anwano has been putting on everything, but he's right here in the chat saying, Brenda, that is the Africa that we want. So thank you so much, Queen. Blessings and peace to all the Ugandans. No more black. We don't have any one drop to spare out there. We are taking, and we are waging, and we are winning. Thank you so very much, Brenda. Thank you. Good night to you. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Good. And my dear lovely fans, thank you for supporting. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting in every way that you want. Yes. We are not sharing anything and asking anybody for anything. Just do it if you want to do it. But the biggest support that we want is for you to subscribe. We want to teach and liberate. The same journey that Brenda is talking about is the same journey that we are all. It is about teaching and awakening. And you can imagine, we've been talking sometimes, oh, we're loud, we make noise. You know what? We need to be so loud. Oh, God. And the Pan-African Daily TV is going to be seen everywhere on the 54 countries in the diaspora. We're working on that. You would hear us. You're not just going to sit here and hear us here. We're coming for you. Yeah, we're coming for you. The addressees, they know actually who are direct and who we direct. Now, I just want to end up with one beautiful thing that we need to know. It is not a joke. It is not just an entertainment. You all know me. You know ourselves. We all know why we are here. Now, take a minute and ask yourself, which country in the world is going to war with itself? Take a minute. Just take a minute. Which country? So, war is a business. War is a multi-billion business. Now, you see all the billionaires and whoever, and we keep saying, oh, you know what? They work hard. They do this. Guess what they sell? Guess what they sell? Guess the countries that are producing this weapon. Do you think they just produce it and will not want a target market? Just imagine that there are no wars. It's a bad market, right? And so even the fact that we are preaching our unity, and most people begin to think that we're talking about unity or the target us. Why do you actually think the target us? Like I said, war is a business, a very lucrative business. Now, why do you make yourself a customer? That's the question we Africans should ask ourselves. Why do we make ourselves customer to buy that weapon, to buy that process, to buy the mindset in the name of power? We don't see them do it these days. You don't see them killing their young people. Number two, war and targeting the youth, because the youth are the future. Now, it is also a population reduction strategy. Now, if we kill our youth, look at most of them, their pyramid structures are more older people and lesser young people. Now, don't you think that they're so jealous of a young continent that is vibrant? Because that's the power. Now, when we destroy our powerhouse, what are we just doing? What are we doing? In the name of power? No, it's a trick. So be aware, be smart, no more blood. We're not giving even a dime of blood to anybody. We're already dying naturally. Okay, so I wish you a pleasant evening wherever you are. Remember, tomorrow we have a kind of a double program. Live on the Pan-African Daily TV, we're going to host Timmy Frank. I already told you, but also you would be watching. I am not promising because the technical situation on African rice might change. Yeah. So, but we intend to connect Professor Pierre Olumumba's a celebration of Africa Rice with Susan West tomorrow, and time is 6 p.m. So it's a 1-hour program. And after that we're going to come live with Timmy Frank. Yeah. So we are live tomorrow on this exclusive. Normally we won't do Sundays, you know that. But we're doing this for the love of our nation because we know we don't have time to waste. We need to work. We need to invest time. We need to sacrifice. We need to volunteer a lot. And I thank you so very much. We don't have no more. We've given too much blood out. And now you see blood is also a strategy where they sell blood. Does somebody really create blood? They all harvest them from these wars. Why do we become those blood banks out there? Why is it always us being the customers to this? We say no to war in any part of the world. We need peace, and we are civilized people. We're living our life according to given by our God, our creator. So thank you so very much. We see us tomorrow. Keep it sweet. Enjoy your weekend. Make sure you relax a lot. Yeah. Do the things you love to do. All right. So all the best from the Pan-African Daily TV. Greetings from Tumi Tata, who was our technical for tonight. Greetings from Neisha Melkon, who was our back office girl, my PA. And greetings from from Patrick Kasserim on the continent, and more of our staffs that are coming up. So Ia will be doing the show for tonight, for tomorrow. So we see ourselves. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Ubuntu all the time. Bye.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want, unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 #1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.